is the G1 podcast.
이번 역은 서울역입니다.
Welcome to the G1 podcast. I'm your host, GP, and thank you as always for tuning in. You're about to hear the first in a two-part mini documentary on the impoverished elderly here in Seoul. I've actually been sitting on this idea for a while now, and it was finally made possible by the resources given to me by my radio station TBS EFM. It actually aired as part of the Planet Korea Corner on Koreascape on Saturday, February 6th. Now then, before I get to it, be warned that this is not the most feel-good thing you're likely to hear today, but it's true to the experience that we were met with, and if anything, I hope it gives you some perspective and raises awareness. Here it is. Immediately the scent of this place.
Yeah, you can smell it.
It's pervasive.
Oh, wow.
It's very similar to an outhouse.
Oh, wow.
And there's only one light on. Bathroom. How many rooms are here? 1, 2, 3. About 12 rooms. And there's just the one solitary bathroom.
It looks like...
It's damp.
I'm really sorry, but it looks like cells.
Yeah, they do feel like cells. It's damp
Really
and it's
dark, damp.
I kind of get just chills from standing here. And like cells, the doors have latches for padlocks on the outside in place of regular doorknobs. The only real sign of inhabitants was the faint noise of televisions, their light sneaking through doors left ajar in the -3-degree cold for the sake of ventilation. A set of crutches hanging off the walls reminded us that poverty wasn't the only factor at play here. So was illness. This particular Jjokbang, a word that has no English equivalent and no legal standard for defining, was home to 67 residents and their belongings, each packed into a room the area of a queen-sized mattress. We were introduced to one of the residents, who reluctantly but kindly showed us his space. This room split between a mini fridge, a microwave, a rice cooker, and a TV. How many hours a day do you spend here?
하루 종일 거의 있다 뭐 일이 없으니까요. 하루 종일 있는 거예요.
Pretty much all day long because he's not working at the moment.
잠깐 나갔다 오는 거 이 정도.
아버님 냉장고 한 번만 열어봐도 돼요?
We see some instant noodles, ramyun.
이게 주식이에요.
That's his menu.
So there's eggs and ramyun. 1 egg for every pack of ramyun. I see 4 here. 4 eggs and 4 packs of instant noodles. For reference, that's about 2,450 calories. Our associate producer Jamie found out that inmates in Korean prisons receive 2,500 calories across 3 meals daily. The difference? The ramyun and eggs cost about 4,000 won a day. Remember, prison meals are paid by tax dollars, and the inmates get meals that were carefully balanced by professional nutritionists to meet certain health guidelines. 4,000 won a day though. Most of us spend more than that between our morning cup of coffee and commute to work. This is the daily reality for residents of the Jjokbang, one of the most quintessential symbols of poverty here in Korea. Right here in the heart of Seoul, between Sugmyang Women's University and Seoul Station, not more than 100 yards away from 4 brand new glass office buildings and the chain bakeries and cafes that spring up like weeds around them. The residents of these Jjokbang, which live in clusters of 700 to 1,000 individuals in neighborhoods all over the city, we're the generation that worked odd jobs in manual labor to build this country's now world-class economy. Curious about whether or not these individuals were as alone as they seemed, the team and I headed just across the street to the Seoul Station Jjokbang Counseling Center. So here we are on the first floor of it. I already forgot his name. It's pretty long. What did you say its name was?
서울역 쪽방 상담소.
It is really nice. If you had to describe the vibe, I would say it's kind of like a cafe, right?
Yeah, more like a cafe with really cool interior designs.
There's some hair on the ground. There's a lot of hair on the ground. Why is there hair on the ground?
Because a missionary work team from a church came here to volunteer to give a haircut to the Jjokbang residents at the center. Actually, so here's a tree with many messages. So you can see 올해는 장가, meaning I want to get married this year. So it's all New Year's hopes and messages, I guess. Wishing for everyone's health. One of the messages said. Yeah, pretty much everyone wishes for their health. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see some say just 건강, 몸 건강하게. I have gone on dates in cafes that are not as nice as this place. Let's head on up. We were told the center was opened in June of 2014, sponsored primarily by one of Korea's largest mobile service providers. According to the staff, they continue to allot money for the center's annual budget.
Should we interview one of the residents?
Yes, we should always do that. We asked him a little bit about himself and why he comes to the center.
57년생이고.
I was born in 1957. At the moment, I'm living at 91-5. It's been over 10 years. I come back and forth to the center often because it's good. I can do a lot of things like take a bath. Jjokbang doesn't have one, so I can have a bath, I can do the laundry. That's why I come. It's hard to do the laundry in a Jjokbang. It's all cold water. I have no choice but to use the facility often.
I was very pleasantly surprised that the government and businesses were stepping in to fill the cracks of their humble housing situations. To find out more about how the center was doing that, we spoke to their director.
저는 전명재 실장입니다.
So his name is Chun Myung-jae, and he basically said there are about 1,000 people living in Dongjadong area. The center takes care of those residents who are socially neglected, mostly elderly people who are in absolute poverty. There are 4 official workers working for the center. There are 2 nurses from the Yongsan-gu district office, and then 2 volunteers. So altogether 8 people work for the center. And basically they work as a bridge between the residents and institutions and facilities and organizations and hospitals who can provide more support for the residents, like providing healthcare and actually giving them food and things like that. So their biggest goal is to provide the foundation for those residents to become independent.
Jjokbang residents are eligible for all center services free of charge. In addition, the center even hires a small contingent of them to help with upkeep and maintenance. He went on to say that the reception from the residents has been generally positive, but with only 8 full-time staff members for roughly 1,000 residents, at times the job gets stressful.
스트레스를 많이 받으시나요?
많이 받습니다.
He said just a very small percentage of those residents. Some of them have drinking problems. They sometimes come to the center and verbally abuse the workers here and other people. So that's when they get the stress the most. And he said the boundary between homeless people and Jjokbangchon residents is very minimal because once they stop being able to pay for the rent, they become homeless.
노숙으로 이렇게 전락을 하기 때문에.
And what are the times that make it all worthwhile?
저희한테 고맙다고 인사해 주실 때.
When they say thanks. Alcoholism, poverty, and any number of physical and mental health issues, every individual resident had a different story, and I wanted to hear them all.
우리 어머니가 먼저 돌아가셨어.
My mother passed away first, and when my father remarried, I was bullied by my stepmother, which was why I left. I wasn't smart. If I had been smart, I would have done many things, but I wasn't able to learn anything. I had many dreams, but when reality hits you, you let go of all of your dreams and live day to day. That's how I've ended up here.
다 없어지고 그냥 하루하루 살아가는 게 힘들잖아요. 그냥 오늘날까지 온 거예요. 벗어날 수가 없어.
I can't ever escape. Think about it. If I go anywhere else, the cost of living will be so high. We're back in the center, and we just came from that Jjokbangchon, the residences.
I mean, maybe you can barely fit 2 people in there
If you didn't have any furniture, it was the size of maybe a bathroom inside of an apartment.
Exactly. That's why I said it more looks like a cell.
And in here it's nice and warm over there. He had to open his window to keep airflow going through.
It's right
There's
across the road.
just the stark contrast between the cafe-like place we're in now
Very
And-
modern,
yeah.
very bright, and full of people.
and the place that we were just at. It's almost night and day. You don't even feel like it could exist in the same city even. It seems like there's some sort of disconnect. That it's great that there's all these facilities and that, you know, they're communal. It helps keep them going, but does it raise their standard of living if that gentleman said he was there almost all hours of the day? How much could it possibly help to have a place like this when you still have to live like that? The more time I spent there, the more I couldn't shake the feeling that perhaps I, as an outsider, wanted more for the residents than they themselves really cared to have.
아유, 몸이나 안 아프면 좋겠어. 건강만 하면.
I just hope that I can be healthy. Being healthy keeps me happy. It's not like I'm going to be able to save money or get a job. Other people say they're going to do these things, but that's all a fraud. They need to be more realistic.
뭐가 있어야지. 그냥 몸만 아프고.
I want to live without getting in the way of others, getting their help and being bad-mouthed about. Just make the best of what I have.
건강하면 딴 거는.
His pessimistic outlook clashed sharply with the ambience of the center, its staff, and my own personal views on how he could go about improving his situation. I held my tongue, reminding myself that his opinion was his own, not necessarily shared by the 1,000 other unique individuals living here. His basic desire for good health, though, is shared by the majority of his neighbors. It manifested on the decorated tree we encountered in the lobby, and seems to be at the forefront of concerns for Jjokbang residents as it becomes one for all of us as we age, regardless of socioeconomic classifications. Our trip to the center happened to coincide with a monthly visit by a church-affiliated volunteer Oriental medical group. We sat down with Pastor Kim Byung-no and Dr. Jae Byung-tak to ask them about what the most common health issues were and what services they offered the residents.
여기 오시는 분들이
Mainly they have joint problems, their neck, shoulders, their backbones, and then also they tend to carry heavy things. Some of them are in like the labor market, so they have joint problems. Also they have digestive system problems because some of them they just have drinking problems, and then also respiratory problems. Some of them I see most of them smoking. So they provide some Oriental medical treatment, and also they spread the word of God and try to pass Christianity to the residents.
We provide them acupuncture therapy and moxa therapy and cupping and renewal of the bones, etc. Yeah. In addition, we give them herbal medicine.
The doctor's belief in his work carried through in his smile. How could he possess such conviction when the recipients, one of which we had just heard from, were so resigned to their lot in life?
So many visitors, so many patients here, they are eager to come here. Once we meet them, we become friends each other. So especially when you come here, many patients are the old ones. Once they have some kind of therapy, they are very, very satisfied. And after them, they come again. Okay.
대부분 여기 오시는 분들 중에서 많은 분들이
Because many of them, they still don't get the national insurance benefit. So they come here and get free treatment. It's all they have, all they can have. So they feel really grateful for the service they're providing to them.
Despite the best intentions and efforts of volunteers and staff, the corporately funded counseling center and even special Lunar New Year's meals they'll be receiving this holiday, one thing that society and taxpayers simply cannot provide, and a thing that most of us are guilty of taking for granted, is behind their reason for living here and at the root of their sorrow. Family.
아버님 그러면 가족분들은 어떻게?
가족은 없어.
I don't have any. I left home when I was very young. I don't have any contact with them. Even if I miss them, I don't have any money. And because I'm getting old and thinking about them makes your head spin. So you put your energy into other things. Without any money, I can't be a man. So how can I contact them? I don't know about others. Some start drinking. Because I don't really drink, I gamble.
번호판을 돌아다니는 거예요.
Without money, he considers himself unworthy of having a family, yet he gambles when he does have it. It's as if all the residents here are just trying to stay afloat in a whirlpool of catch-22 situations, and when the current gets too strong, they resign themselves to surviving day to day. It's easy to blame the individual, dismissing them as undisciplined or irresponsible, but behind every individual's reality is a canvas of invisible factors. An inadequate welfare system that was unequipped for the nation's rapidly aging society, wealthy Jjokbang landlords who refused to add heating, hot water, or renovate their buildings, and even if they did, it drive up rent prices, forcing tenants onto the streets. I initially came to this Jjokbang in hopes of finding a sense of progress, a way to reach out, but I've since settled for simply raising awareness. These were the thoughts we ended our first day with as we headed home, cautiously optimistic about finding more resolution on our next Jjokbang visit. Special thanks to Christina Suh for her insightful production advice, Jamie Lee and Jun Sung Cho for their help as well. They were the two female voices you heard, and Dr. Gang over at Seoul National University Hospital. If you enjoyed this one, you can check out the second part next week. In the meanwhile, please do like the Facebook page, subscribe, and don't be afraid to tweet at me. The handle is G1PDCST.
내리실 건 왼쪽입니다. 잠시 뒤 신호위